Hi, for this video we'll be focusing on snapshots, what they are and what happens to them when we use them. And to illustrate it, we'll be using an example. So I've prepared my example experiment here using Balmoral, and say I have Balmoral stored on GitHub. So I'll add a git source to the repository, which I find here, and say connect. Now I get a warning because the link I'm using is not a snapshot, which means basically it can change. It's mutable. Say someone push a new commit to the repository, it has now changed. I'm going to press confirm anyway. And I'm just going to call it Balmoral non-snapshot. Now, to illustrate the difference, I'm also going to add a snapshotted version in the inputs. So again, I connect to Git, but this time I'll choose the latest commit. Because even if new commits are pushed after this one, this specific commit will not change. It is a snapshot of the repository. So when I press connect, I don't get a warning. I go straight to the labeling. So now I have a non-snapshot from Git and a snapshot from Git, as well as a local file. Now, the reason why these snapshots are important is because all the other data locations are either something that can be turned into a snapshot by being uploaded to the bucket, such as local files or SSH files, but Git files are already, or Git references are already stored on a version control system, which means they are not turned into a bucket item, which means if it's not a snapshot, it can change also after you have saved a run. So let's see what happens when we do save a run. Now we get another warning saying we have selected an item which is not a snapshot. And the reason why we have this is because during the making of Traceback, we learned that flexibility was of high priority. So instead of blocking the researchers from using non-snapshots, we instead give them this warning. And we haven't decided how to portray this abstract concept of snapshots and non-snapshots. That's why we just use the warnings instead. And the idea is that it hopefully guides the researchers to using snapshots, but we don't want to block them in case they for some reason do want to use a changing reference. So when I press yes and accept, I have now saved my run. And we noticed that there was one upload and two skips, and it was of course the local file that was uploaded and turned into a snapshot on the bucket, whereas the Git references were not uploaded. This one is already a snapshot, so that's fine. This one, however, may change.